Hello students, today we will be discussing the decomposition reactions. Okay, let's understand the concept of decomposition reactions by the help of a small activity. So this activity 1.5 we are going to discuss. We take about 2 grams of ferrous sulfate crystals in a dry boiling tube. Alright, so 2 grams of ferrous sulfate crystals are taken. You must keep in mind the boiling tube should be dry. Then we note the color of the ferrous sulfate crystals. We have to check like what color that material is having. So you will observe it is basically green in color. Now you heat the boiling tube over the flame of a burner or a spirit lamp. As we can see in this figure, we have a spirit lamp or burner, and on that we are heating this particular material. This is the boiling tube. Here material is there, ferrous sulfate crystals are there. Now we have to keep in mind that the mouth of the boiling tube must not be towards us or towards our neighbor. It may harm us. Okay. Now we have to observe the color of the crystals after heating. Like if we see any change in the color, like initially we were having green color, that change in color we have to check basically, right? So have you noticed the green color of the ferrous sulfate crystals changing? That we have to check. Now we can also smell the characteristic odor of burning sulfur that will come through the tube. Now, what kind of reaction is actually taking place? Let's see. FeSO4, that is ferrous sulfate, when we are heating. Now see, the state of ferrous sulfate is solid here. When we are heating, what happens? It will generate ferric oxide, that is Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3. So we can see the states Fe2O3 is solid in state, SO2 is gaseous, and SO3 is also gaseous in nature. So in this reaction, you can observe that a single reactant breaks down to give simpler products. इसमें एक ही reactant था हमारा, left hand side पे एक ही है compound that is breaking into 3 different compounds. So basically this type of reaction is known as decomposition reaction, जिसमें हमारा एक single reactant बहुत सारे products में simpler products के अंदर divide हो गया है. Now, what actually happens, see ferrous sulfate crystals are actually FeSO4.7H2O. इसके अंदर water होता है, right? So they lose water when heated and the color of the crystals changes due to that. After this water is lost, then what happens? It will decompose into ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So basically Fe2O3 ferric oxide will be solid, that is left out in the test tube only, and SO2 and SO3 are released as gases. Due to that only you get the characteristic odor like sulfur जैसा आपको एक smell आता है, that is due to this release of SO2 and SO3. So you got the basic concept of decomposition reactions. So decomposition में क्या होगा? एक single आपके पास reactant है and it will be splitting into several simpler products. So in this case it is splitting into 3 different products. अब हम एक और एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं. Another example is that of decomposition of calcium carbonate. So if we see this particular chemical equation, you can see on the left hand side how many reactants are there. Only one single reactant is there, and on right hand side you see there are 2 products and they are simpler products, right? So decomposition of calcium carbonate to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide on heating is an important decomposition reaction which is used in various industries. Calcium oxide is also called lime or quicklime. So this particular product, solid product which we are getting, this is also known as quicklime and it is used in industries. So it is used mainly in the manufacture of cement. Okay. Now, when a decomposition reaction is carried out by heating, जैसे आप इसमें देख सकते हो on the arrow it is written heat. That means we have to heat limestone or CaCO3 to get these products. So if we are providing some heat to the initial reactant and the decomposition occurs, so that is specifically known as thermal decomposition. So thermal decomposition is basically decomposition which is taking place by the action of heat. Okay. One more thing you have to observe here. Limestone was solid in nature and it is giving two products out of which one is solid and one is gaseous. So CO2 or carbon dioxide is gaseous in nature. Now let's see one more example for thermal decomposition reaction. So what is thermal decomposition reaction? You are giving heat to a reactant in order to get the various simpler products. So activity 1.6 says take about 2 grams of lead nitrate powder in a boiling tube. Again आप एक boiling tube लोगे और उसमें 2 grams lead nitrate हमने लिया है. Fine. Now we hold the boiling tube with a pair of tongs and heat it over a flame as shown. So in this figure you can see this is the tube, boiling tube you are taking, with a pair of tongs you are holding it, and through a burner you are just heating this. Now what do we observe when we heat this? We observe the emission of brown colored fumes. So fumes are released, as you can see here, they are brown in color, and these fumes are nothing but they are nitrogen dioxide, NO2. We can see the reaction also here. So PbNO3 whole twice. This is lead nitrate. This is solid in nature. When we are heating this, we get lead oxide, PbO, solid, which is left out in the boiling tube itself, plus NO2, that is nitrogen dioxide. This particular gas is brown in color, plus oxygen, O2 you are getting. So you are getting two gaseous products and one solid product. So again, this is a decomposition reaction because one reactant is there, many simpler products are there, and because of the action of heat, this is occurring. So this is referred to as a thermal decomposition reaction. Now, in order to understand decomposition reactions better, we will perform two more activities. So activity 1.7 we are seeing. What we are doing, we are taking a plastic mug. This is a plastic mug. We drill two holes at its base. These are the two holes, and fit rubber stoppers in these holes. इसमें हमने rubber stoppers लगा दिए. Insert carbon electrodes in these rubber stoppers as shown. So you are adding carbon electrodes here, right? Now connect these electrodes to a 6-volt battery. इन्हें आपने wires के through एक 6-volt battery के साथ connect कर दिया, right? Now fill the mug with water such that the electrodes are immersed. Add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid to the water. Now you are adding water to this mug. Okay. These electrodes, ये जो आपने electrodes यहाँ पे insert किए थे, these should be immersed in water. ये cover हो जाए. And then you add few drops of dilute sulfuric acid. वो आपको इसमें add करना है. Now take two test tubes filled with water and invert them over the two carbon electrodes. ये हमारे दो electrodes हैं. इसके ऊपर हमने water filled test tubes ली हैं दो और उन्हें invert कर दिया. Right? Now we switch on the current and leave the apparatus undisturbed for some time. ये जो आपने बैटरी यहाँ लगाई थी, here is a switch, आप इसको on कर दो. When you switch on this, like current will start flowing through this circuit, right? And some action will take place, so you leave it undisturbed for some time. Let that action take place. So after some time, you will find like there is a formation of bubbles at both the electrodes. यहाँ पे आपको कुछ bubbles नजर आएंगे, right? Now, these bubbles displace water in the test tubes. क्या होगा, पहले ये test tubes पूरी filled थी ऊपर तक. तो अब धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे ये bubbles release होंगे, यहाँ पे top पे ये gases आती जाएंगी और वो water level हमारा down होता जाएगा इसमें. ठीक है? Now, we have to check is the volume of the gas collected the same in both the test tubes. जैसे आप दोनों test tubes देखोगे, this is anode, this is cathode. तो ये वाली जो test tube है, इसमें देखो oxygen gas release होगी basically. We'll see how. So here water level is higher और यहाँ पे हमारा basically hydrogen gas release हो रही है towards the cathode side. यहाँ पे आप देखो water level lower होगा. That means ऑक्सीजन जो रिलीज हुई है वो कम है as compared to हाइड्रोजन. ओके, इफ वी परफॉर्म प्रॉपर एक्सपेरिमेंट, इसमें अगर हम मेजर करें तो वी विल फाइंड दैट द वॉल्यूम ऑफ द गैस कलेक्टेड एट द कैथोड. कैथोड पे कौन सी कलेक्ट हुई है? कैथोड पे हाइड्रोजन कलेक्ट हुई है. तो हाइड्रोजन की जो वॉल्यूम है दैट विल बी ट्वाइस द वॉल्यूम ऑफ द गैस कलेक्टेड एट एनोड, दैट इज ऑक्सीजन. सो ये ऑलमोस्ट डबल होता है इससे, राइट? Now, once the test tubes are filled, with the respective gases, we have to remove them carefully. जब test tubes में काफी amount collect हो जाएगा, then we will remove them carefully, and then we will test like what gas is present in each test tube. So this can be done as an experiment. We know that hydrogen and oxygen are released, but how do we come to know this? That we will be seeing now, right? So let's see हाइड्रोजन गैस टेस्ट. जैसे किसी टेस्ट ट्यूब में आपके पास हाइड्रोजन गैस है तो आप कैसे चेक करोगे? ठीक है. When you bring a burning candle close to this test tube, the hydrogen will combust with a pop sound, indicating the presence of hydrogen gas. आपको क्या करना है, एक बर्निंग कैंडल ले आओ नियर द एंड ऑफ द टेस्ट ट्यूब और जैसे ही वो हाइड्रोजन के कांटेक्ट में आएगा आपको पॉप साउंड सुनाई देगी. सो दिस इज बेसिकली हाइड्रोजन कंटेनिंग टेस्ट ट्यूब. और हाइड्रोजन उसी टेस्ट ट्यूब में होगा जिसमें वॉल्यूम ज्यादा थी. ओके. नेक्स्ट वी डू द ऑक्सीजन गैस टेस्ट. तो जिस टेस्ट ट्यूब में हमारे कम वॉल्यूम थी, दैट इज कंटेनिंग ऑक्सीजन, हाउ वी चेक दिस? वी ब्रिंग अ ग्लोइंग स्प्लिंट क्लोज टू दिस टेस्ट ट्यूब. इट विल रीइग्नाइट द स्प्लिंट. वो थोड़ा और अच्छे से ग्लो करने लगेगा, इंडिकेटिंग द प्रेजेंस ऑफ ऑक्सीजन गैस. राइट. सो इस तरह हम चेक कर सकते हैं लाइक विच टेस्ट ट्यूब इज कंटेनिंग हाइड्रोजन एंड विच इज कंटेनिंग ऑक्सीजन. Let's see one more activity, activity 1.8. This is really simple. You take about 2 grams silver chloride in a china dish. You see in the diagram, ये आपने china dish ली है और उसमें 2 grams of silver chloride you are placing. So you observe what is its color, right? It's you will observe that it is white colored powder, right? Now you place this china dish in sunlight for some time. See from this window sunlight is coming. आपको थोड़ी देर के लिए उसे sunlight के पास रखना है, right? Now observe the color of the silver chloride after some time. तो you will observe जो white color था silver chloride का वो धीरे धीरे अब gray में convert हो जाता है through the action of the sunlight. Okay, so this is also due to the decomposition reaction. Basically जो हमारा silver chloride है वो decompose हो जाता है silver और chlorine में, right? So equation you can write down as AgCl. AgCl is silver chloride. It is in solid form. Now we are exposing it to sunlight. It gives Ag, that is silver, and Cl2, that is chlorine. So chlorine is released as a gas. G is written here, and silver remains as a solid. So this is also a very simple example of decomposition reaction. Now अभी आपने जो देखा था जो सिल्वर क्लोराइड का बिहेवियर है, सिमिलर इज द बिहेवियर ऑफ सिल्वर ब्रोमाइड आल्सो. Okay, so silver bromide is AgBr. If you take it in solid state and expose it to sunlight, it will give silver and bromine gas. So basically Ag plus Br2, which is in gaseous state. Now the above reactions are used in black and white photography. Photography में हम इसको use करते थे, right? Now what form of energy is causing these decomposition reactions? क्या है वो form of energy? So we see that decomposition reactions require energy either in the form of heat. Okay, अभी हमने देखा था जैसे हम heat provide कर रहे हैं, burn कर रहे हैं burning tube के अंदर, then it's occurring. Light, as you have seen these two cases of silver chloride and silver bromide, like light, sunlight action is causing, or electricity, as we saw in the case of like when we passed electricity and we collected hydrogen and oxygen gases. So these are the various forms of energy which cause breaking down of the reactants. तो जो reactant होता है वो break down हो जाता है simpler products के अंदर, and these are all decomposition reactions. Now reactions in which energy is absorbed, आप energy absorb कर रहे हो, they are known as endothermic reactions, right? So these are the reactions which are actually absorbing heat, okay, light or electricity for them to occur. Next, we have to carry out this activity. Take about 2 grams of barium hydroxide in a test tube and add 1 grams of ammonium chloride and mix it with the help of a glass rod. आप ये perform कर सकते हो in laboratory. Now touch the bottom of the test tube with your palm. What do you feel? You can actually do this and see. You will feel that the test tube will feel cold after you carry out this reaction. So if it is feeling cold, so it is basically it comes in which category? It will come in endothermic reaction category because it is taking heat. Okay. And what happens in exothermic reactions? Basically, heat is released, the test tube temperature rises. But in this case, the test tube temperature will fall and basically it will come under the category of endothermic reactions. So now we have two questions. You can go through these questions and try to answer them. First one is like we have a solution of a substance X. Okay, it is used in whitewashing. So you have to identify X and write its formula. And then if X, you react it with water, what kind of reaction takes place? That reaction you have to mention. Okay, try to do this. Second one is why is the amount of gas collected in one of the test tubes in activity 1.7 double of the amount collected in the other? You have to name the gas. This we have already discussed. There were two gases, hydrogen and oxygen, and they were released as per some equations. Okay, some chemical reaction took place, and according to these, one of them was double the other. That we can discuss in detail. So let's try to answer the first question. In first question, the substance that is used in the form of a solution for whitewashing, that is basically calcium oxide. It is also called quicklime. Okay, and its formula is CaO. And when calcium oxide or quicklime reacts with water, it will provide calcium hydroxide or slaked lime. And this reaction is highly exothermic in nature. It will cause a rise in temperature. Okay. So the equation we can write CaO, that is calcium oxide plus water, H2O. This is in solid state, this is in liquid state. It gives calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice, aqueous. Why we write aqueous? Because it is in the form of a solution. So this is the answer for the first question. Also regarding the second question, in second question we had like electrolysis of water takes place. So water H2O will split into hydrogen and oxygen, H2 plus O2. So the equation would be H2O gives H2 plus O2. This equation you can balance, and when you balance you can see how many molecules of oxygen are there and how many molecules of hydrogen are there. Please post this equation in the comment section. I'll just check and revert over that. Thank you so much for being attentive in this particular lecture. I'll bring more interesting lectures for you so that you can study these concepts in an easier manner. Thank you so much.